What's up, YouTube? Dakota here, and welcome back to the Driven Mad channel. Now, as you can tell, I'm in my Jeep, and I thought today, it's kind of a gloomy day today, but I thought I'd kind of answer some questions that I usually get, which is why I bought a manual for my Jeep, and kind of give you guys that explanation, as well as maybe a few reasons why you should get one, and maybe a few reasons why you shouldn't get one. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. All right, guys. So, like I said, I was going to kind of give you a bit of a background as to why I bought my particular Jeep in a manual. So, my very first experience with a manual transmission ever was my parents had a '96, I want to say, Jeep Cherokee XJ, and it was a 5-speed. And so that was my first experience with a Jeep product, a Jeep branded vehicle, was a manual Cherokee, and I really loved that thing. Like, I don't know why, I really liked it. It wasn't a 4-wheel drive or anything, it was a 2-wheel drive, that straight 6, and it was freaking bulletproof. But so that was my first ever experience with a Jeep, was that Cherokee with a 5-speed manual. And so to me, just Jeeps kind of had manuals, and then anytime they had talked about getting one, it was always, well, we want it with a manual. And then also being a car person myself, I had this thing for manual and being in control of the vehicle and everything like that. So when I bought this Jeep originally, it was kind of my dream Jeep, and so I was like, well, I've always wanted a 2-door Jeep with a manual, and so that's why I got it. As well as I also just enjoy being able to kind of shift it myself and be in direct control of everything. So that's kind of why I got one, because it kind of just fit my idea of what a Jeep is. Not that getting an automatic is bad in a Jeep, it's just it kind of fit my idea of what it should be. So anyways, let's talk about some reasons as to why you might want to get a manual. If you're kind of on the fence. Obviously, if you have no idea how to drive one, you're probably just going to buy the automatic. But if you're on the fence, if you can drive a manual, but you're kind of like, I don't know which one to get, one reason that you might want to get a manual is you actually get a better crawl ratio in the manual than you do with the automatic. It's 84-to-1 compared to, I want to say it's like 72-to-1. The 84-to-1 is correct. You'll have to double check me, and I'm sure some of you will. On what the automatics is, but you do get a better crawl ratio. So what does that mean? It means when you're in first gear, low range, going up stuff, it's going to crawl up those bigger and steeper obstacles easier, and be able to, you won't have to put in as much work. Like in this, when I take my foot off the clutch and it's in first gear, low range, you don't have to add any gas, and it'll just roll right over stuff on some smaller obstacles. So that's kind of nice to have. Second is just being in direct control. The vehicle will never do something you don't want it to do, because you're in direct control of what it's going to do. You're in charge of the gas, the brakes, and whether or not it's in gear and what gear it's in. So you're going to be in direct control of, you know, if you're looking at an obstacle and you're like, all right, I know I need to be in this gear, you'll already have it there, which nowadays in the newer automatics you can kind of pick your gear. You know, you can put it down into like that slap shift setting where you can select a gear, but you're in even more controls. And like, so, say you're going up a really steep incline, and the vehicle starts to tip or something like that, you know, your automatic instinct anytime you're in a manual, clutch, brake. You know, so if you do that and you're going up a steep hill, you'll hit the clutch and it'll kind of settle the vehicle back down onto its wheels, because it'll kind of roll back a little bit. So that could be a benefit to you. And also, it just looks cool. Like, you know, one reason is it's just different, right? A lot of people don't buy the manuals, and for good reason. Some people, you know, I'm not one of those guys that I personally prefer manuals. Both of my vehicles happen to be manuals. For me, it's either manual or a dual clutch transmission, which a Jeep doesn't have. You know, it just kind of depends. It's just something different. So if you want to stand out a little bit more, the manual's going to do that. If not, so another reason you might want to go for the manual is simply for the fact that it's about $2,000 cheaper. If you get the manual, you're going to save yourself about $2,000 that you could use towards another option you might want. Like, say you save yourself $2,000 on the transmission, but you can use that towards the steel bumper group or something like that, or mods or whatever you'd want to do. So that could be another thing that you might persuade you to go one way or the other. Now, here's some reasons why you might not want to get a manual, depending on how important some of these things are to you. And you guys can let me know in the comments if there are any reasons why you think you should and why you think you shouldn't. But one reason is on the newer vehicles, like with the JL, with the 8-speed, you're going to get better gas mileage. So with the manual, you're not going to get as good of gas mileage as you would in, say, the 8-speed. Whether you've got the 2-liter or the 3.6, or now you can get the diesel, but you're only going to get that in the with an automatic, and unfortunately only in the 4-door currently, at least. Because that's another reason. One thing, real quick, just a little sidetrack here. If that diesel was available in a 2-door, I would happily give up my my manual for that, just because then you're talking about getting a crazy amount of range and having all that torque. But anyways, so one thing is the fuel mileage. If that's something that's a little bit more important to you, the automatic will give you better mileage, and also better acceleration. It'll be a little bit faster because you've got 2 extra gears compared to the manual. They can be spaced more closely together, so they can just be kind of consistently in the power band. This Jeep, I saw, dude. You can have the gears are just going to be right in the power band basically every time. And another is it's just easier, right? You know, you don't have to think about what gear you need to be in. You don't have to mess with the clutch. And again, so really, if that's the case, I mean, you know which way you're going anyways. If you're worried about whether or not it's easier, you know which way you're going. So another reason that you might want to skip the manual option and go for the automatic is because in the JL, you can actually get a couple of extra features with the automatic that you can't with the manual, like remote start, which it could be a big deal to you or not, depending on, I guess, where you live. If it's super cold and you like to get your vehicle warmed up or cooled down, that's something that you can't have with the manual from the factory. I know there are going to be some people that are like, oh, you can add it in the aftermarket. Yeah, that's not really my thing. But so you can get that if you get the automatic, as well as you can get adaptive cruise control if you get the automatic, which you can't get if you choose the manual. You can still get cruise control, you just can't get the full adaptive cruise control. So that's something to think about, is what do you want those options? Because if you do, that's going to determine also which transmission you get. But anyways, guys, those are basically just a few things that you might want to think about. Like I said, I get asked the question kind of quite often as to why I chose a manual for my Jeep, and usually just in general, versus the automatic. But so I thought it'd be kind of an interesting topic to go over. But again, in the comments, if there's anything you guys feel like is a reason that you should or that you shouldn't, feel free to let me know. Anyways, guys, I also want to let you know I do have a pretty cool trip coming up planned with the JL. It's going to be the first overland trip that I've done, so it'll be kind of fun to do, and I'm pretty excited about it. It should be pretty fun, and that should be coming here in the next week or two. So yeah, if you aren't currently subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and make sure to click the notification bell so you're notified anytime new videos pop up. And anyways, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.